And you know what?
We're up. We don't go anywhere without Camera J. Camera J's ready. We're ready. We're broadcasting our Sunrise Extra show today. Of course, on many streams. The Instagram, there we are. The Facebook, there we are. We're on .com. This is the show we do every day after the big TV show, Sunrise Extra. We'll talk, of course, about some of the big stories that we covered during today's show, the talky stories, some of the stories that make you feel good, like the Blazers winning Game 2 of their series with the Oklahoma City Thunder
That was exciting.
last night at the Moda Center. We will recap some of this again in a moment. We'll also actually talk about your positive parenting story. But first, let me just bring up a question. We're going to have this question kind of running throughout our 25-minute or so Sunrise Extra program. Brenda, can you turn down your phone, please? The question is this. With Easter coming up on Sunday, if you had to get rid of one staple Easter candy, if that makes sense, if you had to get rid of one Easter candy that always seems to pop up in baskets, which one would you get rid of? And here are the choices.
Okay, go.
Jelly beans, Reese's peanut butter egg, Peeps,
Yes.
chocolate rabbit, you know, the big old chocolate rabbit you see there, or the Cadbury cream egg. Which of these 5 choices would you get rid of? Viewers are already weighing in, but Ashley, Brent, if you want to chime in, go.
Peeps, hands down. I'm not even a close call. And a fresh Peep, let me say, there are things called fresh Peeps.
Okay.
Oh, that's the name of the thing?
marshmallow is not that bad, but my least favorite candy of all time.
What do you mean? I don't know what the heck is a fresh
Have
Peep.
you ever seen like the hard Peeps that are stale?
Yeah.
Those are the worst. But if they're fresh
all
and
bad.
chewy and
Oh, gotcha,
marshmallowy,
okay.
I want to know if anyone even likes those. I always
Yes, they do.
walk by them in the store and I'm like, who in the heck buys that? You'd waste your money? That's like lighting your cash on fire. That is so disgusting. I don't know why you'd eat that.
Retail 101 suggests.
So offended
if you
that
keep
people eat those.
If you keep seeing them on store shelves, something tells me they must be getting purchased. Otherwise, the store would stop wasting shelf space on them. But I'm with you.
Pamela, I like it. She says, Peeps got to go from day one.
I would rather eat
Agreed.
cardboard than eat a Peep.
I honestly thought we should have pulled Peeps from this choice because I feel like everyone's going to say Peeps,
Everybody
right?
wants to beat up on
Everyone
Peeps.
wants to get rid of the Peeps. So I would also agree with you.
Yeah.
Peeps would be the first to
Okay,
go.
what's the next one then? Let's
If
take
I had
that
to
out of the
get rid-
equation.
I do not like
Yeah.
jelly beans.
Love jelly beans.
What?
Don't like them.
Love.
Love them.
I love Cadbury. I love Reese's. I am just, my sweet tooth is out of control.
Jelly beans, Reese's, I could eat all day. The cream eggs, I don't know. Those
I'm a
are okay.
chocolate kind
The
of guy.
caramel eggs.
Oh, the
Have
caramel.
You seen those? Oh
the
my
caramel
gosh,
one,
they're
but
so
the
good.
cream one I don't like. But
I like all of
chocolate
them.
bunny, I take it or leave that.
Well, I'd rather eat the chocolate bunny than the jelly beans. Anything
Really?
with the chocolate on it gives me, to me, gets a step up on the ladder.
Do you like black jelly beans?
No.
You hate those the most? I love those.
You like licorice?
Yeah.
I
I don't know how we got all the way into this. Were we supposed to talk about other
Yes,
things
I'm sorry.
first?
We
So you
digress.
can chime in right now. This is the way the game works. You go on to the Facebook feed, the Instagram feed, chime in with your answers. Very simple question.
come back to
I know it's 7-something in the morning right now, 7:03 to be exact. I know you have a busy morning, but couldn't you take a moment in your day to share your feelings with us
We
on
would
this
love
Easter
to.
candy debate? Which of those 5 Easter candies that we just mentioned would you get off the planet if you had a choice?
So can we also, oh, I'm sorry. I'm totally interrupted you. Go. I'm sorry. Go.
I didn't have much to say, but did you want to plug what? No? Okay.
Well, I would like to start this
After.
next thing by saying, Drew, do you remember yesterday when we were talking Blazers?
Yes.
And do you remember Aaron was watching and he was saying Blazers are going to win it?
Oh, yeah.
Was that yesterday or the
No,
day
it was
before?
yesterday.
Anyways, my mind's a blur. Aaron says, I knew that they would win. And he was right because we were talking about it and we're like, don't jinx it.
We can't argue with you, Aaron.
Yeah.
Obviously, you said they would win. Obviously, they won. Obviously, you were right and you know what you're talking about. So, again, chime in with the Blazers, chime in on that Easter candy question. But we will move on, giving people a chance to vote while we discuss Ashley's positive parenting
Yeah, that
segment
was a
from
good
this
one.
morning's show.
Was it, though?
I was.
We can relate to it.
It's a relatable story.
Okay.
You tell us what it was again.
So this was about moving. So we've all moved during this,
We have.
at some point or another, or maybe you've moved your children to a new school, new neighborhood. And the whole segment was about how researchers basically concluded that it's a lot tougher on older kids than younger kids, which
Makes sense.
I think it's tough on all kids to start at a new school. So we were just kind of talking about our experiences. And I moved schools a couple times in elementary, you know, when I was younger, but then I also moved in high school, and that was way harder for me. So is it just because kids are more cliquey, they've kind of established those friend groups?
Absolutely, and they've probably been going to school together for years. So I moved from Los Angeles up to McMinnville, Oregon when I was almost in 4th grade.
Okay.
And so I remember that it was kind of scary. My mom walked me to the door, and the teacher took me and showed me my little seat, and the girl in front of me, I still remember it to this day, her name was Bonnie Edwards, and she was so nice to me that first day. And it made all the difference.
And you remember her name?
I totally do. I haven't seen her probably in almost that long.
Wow.
I think she ended up transferring somewhere else too, but I still remember her.
That's cool.
I had a similar experience, but before I share mine, feel free to share yours. This is the way the Sunrise Extra game works. We love to hear from the viewers, whether you share a story with us, because I know that would be like a couple of paragraphs probably. Maybe you have a small piece of advice. If families are moving, if they're moving to a new town, getting their kids into a new school, is there a simple piece of advice that you would have for parents to help their kids really make that transition? My moving experience came the summer before 6th grade, the summer of '85.
Summer of '85.
Live Aid summer, if you remember correctly. And it was like 2 weeks before school started, or a week before, we moved into this new home, and I was sweating bullets because I was like, I don't know anyone. What am I going to do? My sister was 4 years older than me, so she was in high school. I was still in middle school, and I remember my mom telling me, it's going to be okay, but there was a look in her eye that suggested, I'm not really sure if it will be okay, Drew. Walked up that first day, and the first boy that came up to me was a boy whose name is Rich Beinlich. I still talk to Rich today.
That's neat.
He still lives in the Philly area, and we communicate now and again. The second boy I have lost touch with, but his name was Brian Pitts, and I remember him saying, hey, what's your name? I said,
Say it like
my
that?
name's Drew. And he said, oh, my middle name's Andrew. Like, I'll never forget that. Brian Andrew Pitts. So the boys there, they reached out to me. They did not beat me up. They embraced me.
Well,
explain that. Explain that.
maybe he should explain it. So we were all sharing our little stories, and then you chimed in with.
For some reason, the only thing that popped in my mind was a music class in 6th grade, which was still elementary school at Parkgate Elementary, where I went. I punched Johnny Paul. I don't remember what we got. I don't remember what we were in a tip about.
You punched him.
But had to go to the principal's office. And of course, in those days, you know, the principal was able to discipline the students. And I got the old whack, whack, whack.
Oh, you got a swat.
You got spanked at school.
Yep. Have you ever been spanked?
Yes.
Spanked? No,
I've
but
gotten a swat.
Yeah, the wooden paddle in those days that hung behind his door.
Yeah.
I had a nun, a Catholic school nun, grab me by, I'm like, looking like, can I actually grab one? I feel most comfortable grabbing you, Rod. She grabbed me, and I was wearing a tie. She grabbed me like there, right at the throat.
Yes.
And then, and then, this nun, who stood about 5'2", and she probably weighed about 210 pounds.
She was a mighty nun.
Mighty nun. She grabbed me and then she lifted me off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Full extension of her arm. She had me off the floor because what I did was I took the water fountain water and I kind of tossed it onto the furnace that was right there next to the water fountains in the hallway, and it made steam come up. And I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And she, maybe I was in 7th grade, and she saw it. She goes, Mr. Carney, get down here. It felt like a 1,000-mile walk to Sister Brian. She grabbed me by the throat, put me in the air, and just gave me this riot act while extended off the ground.
Wow.
Powerful nun she was.
We
Sister
didn't
Brian.
misbehave like you two did to get in trouble.
I always got in trouble because I was a talker. I talked too much when I shouldn't have. Does that surprise you that I end up being a news anchor?
I think all of us ended up with that. I was the
I
same
think
thing.
we all
He was
did.
very talkative. So they sat me next to the two quietest girls. The teacher's desk was here. The two quietest girls who never said boo sat next to me, and then there was like 50 feet between me
So
and
they
the
were
desk.
annoyed by you.
They just kind of keep me quiet.
That's funny.
I'm talking a lot right now.
Okay, what are we doing?
Okay, you want to move on? We can.
Let's talk Blazers.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
Blazers.
Blazers.
Yeah, we were waiting for you to chime in on this
thank you.
discussion
All right.
because you are the basketball guru, at least as far as that corner of the desk goes.
Yes, thank you.
Right here. This is your lane.
Yeah, over, yes.
Stay there.
Blazers Thunder last night. It is exciting to see because we discussed this yesterday. Man, wouldn't it be great for this city, for the area in general, to have a nice extended playoff run? It does make the city feel kind of, you walk around the streets, you kind of notice it.
Yeah.
People are up. It brings the city up.
Happiness.
So we've got a 2-0 series lead against the Thunder. It could all go to pot, if you will, over the next 2 games in Oklahoma City. But man, I'm hoping good things.
So I didn't get to see the game last night. I'm not feeling that well. I don't know if my voice sounds really weak on TV or not, so I went to bed early. But obviously our guards are playing well. Are we having a void in the middle of the court because Nurk is out? or
Well,
does that
Ennis
seem to be
Cantor had a
filled?
huge game one. In fact, Dame called him the MVP of game one. And I looked when I went to sleep too. I woke up. I said, "Man, they had 62, CJ and Dame combined." I thought, "What did Cantor do?" I looked at the box score. He did not that much. He only played like 20 minutes. I keep looking here because Jay is our
Got foul
Blazers
trouble?
authority behind the camera.
Foul trouble?
So I saw 4 fouls. I figured, oh, he must have gotten in foul trouble.
he
Didn't
did.
play a lot of minutes. Didn't contribute as much as he did in game one. And they still hammered.
Dude, can you take
The
it down
Thunder.
just a little bit? You were
Wow.
just.
What's that nun's name?
I
Can we
thought
get that
this
nun
was
on the
supposed
phone?
to be like the
Had a minor
chill
heart attack.
portion
Sorry.
Wow.
of our. Come on.
But it's a big story, right? Obviously, the disappointment of a year ago, and now here we are. We took care of business at home. We're up 2-0. We play Friday, and and we'll see. We all know NBA is really weird in that there can be such a complete opposite outcome between being at home and being on the road. So
Yes.
let's hope we can play well Friday.
No other professional sports league has what you would call as much of a home court advantage.
Yeah, it's
and I don't know
crazy.
why, as the NBA. Home teams
crazy.
in the NBA fare much better than road
That
teams,
was so much
generally
football.
speaking.
I mean, we make so much of a big deal about the 12th man up in Seattle, like, home court advantage, home field advantage. But yeah, in the NBA, it's something like, what, 85% or
it's
something? of the
nuts.
It's a ridiculously high number.
Jessica, our producer, is trying to tell me it's because the court provides like an echo chamber sort of atmosphere. But they play in a court regardless of where they go. It's going to be loud anywhere they go.
But there's something about that emotional lift of your fans.
Maybe it's
I mean,
just
you
like
can
sleeping in your own bed. I always thought it was that. Like, I got to sleep in my bed last night. I woke up and did my thing. I know the routine. And now I'm going to go to the court. That I know how to get to the arena. Everything is familiar to me. And now I'm going to perform well. When I'm on the road, I'm like, what are we doing now? Where are we going? What time are we
but you're- you gotta think,
Jess
like-
is a big OKC fan,
When you-
so I think
And
she's
she
just
moved here
sad.
from Oklahoma. She grew up in
Yeah,
Oklahoma,
yeah.
so we should give her that.
Yeah, there you
that
go.
out of jail card. Come on, it's an out of jail card. She grew up in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. So I did a little Googling here to figure out, like, I guess, when you're up 2-0 in the NBA, and not to jinx the Blazers or anything like that, but the team on the opposite side of that, when you're down 0-2 in a series, only 7% of the teams that were down 0-2
7?
in a series, 7%,
come
only
back?
20 teams in a 7-game series
Come back to
have
win.
come back to win that
Wow.
I
series.
am shocked it's that
So
low.
the odds are good for us.
Oklahoma City is one of the teams that did that. Now, nobody on this team was on
Played
that
then,
team back in
okay.
2012. I don't think. We got to go back to 2012, and I'm not sure.
No, Westbrook.
Westbrook was. Okay, there. Thank you, Jess. and Cameron J.
Yeah.
But also the 77 Blazers pulled that
Okay.
off when they
Oh, that's right. in
won the
championship.
title
Yeah,
against the 76ers.
Oh,
yeah,
I like
so
that stat.
You like those stats?
I do.
So what that basically means is that 0-2 stat means nothing, and they still got to go into Oklahoma City and win 2 games.
It
Done.
would mean a lot if they had won the first 2 games in Oklahoma City. That I would say would mean a whole bunch.
Yeah.
The fact that you won your first 2 games at home means something. It's good, but you're right. Oklahoma City could come right back and win their next 2 games at home. We'll see. Ashley, you've been very quiet during the Blazers
I
discussion.
just don't have a lot of sports knowledge to pass along to you guys. So
Let's watch out for Russell's outfit when
Okay.
he rolls it out.
Oh yeah, yeah. He always has
'Cause
some
he is
great
swaggy.
stuff.
He's going to come sporting,
He is
Into
Come
the
walking
arena,
down
like-
those hallways, and they've got like.
strutting.
I could watch that.
All right,
See?
can we jump back? Because Chris, you weren't here at the beginning. We jumped off this Sunrise Extra program.
We jumped off what? What did we
kicked it
jump off of?
We kicked it off. I'm going to jump off this desk in a minute.
No, you're
kicked
not
it-
allowed to do that.
We kicked it off by mentioning 5 Easter candies, very popular Easter candies you see every year. If you could get
Peeps.
rid of one, what would it be? You've heard it? Okay, you want to get rid of them.
I can already tell you the Peeps are like disgusting. Get rid of
Yes.
Yeah, see,
See,
that's
why are they still being made?
I was going to say, somebody must eat them or they wouldn't be making them, right?
Yeah, if
Somebody
they're
must
still
eat
on
them.
store
Correct.
shelves, they must be
They
also
must,
leaving
but-
those shelves at some point. Otherwise, they wouldn't.
But is that like
shelf
fruitcake,
space.
where like everybody gives fruitcake because you just give it? You just
Kind of.
give because it's like it's just ingrained that it's tradition.
I like fruitcake.
I kind
Wait,
of do too.
Oh,
I
man.
eat a
What is
fruitcake
a
once a
Is
year.
it a
Hey.
marshmallow that's like
Yes.
been just
Dipped in sugar,
dipped
right?
in sugar?
Yes.
Like
So basically, it's sugar dipped in sugar.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know what they do?
Have
look
some
in the
sugar with your
basket?
sugar.
They make a
Colored
nice
with sugar.
basket
And color.
decoration. 'cause
Artificial
they're brightly
flavors and
colored.
colors.
I can tell you that every person on Facebook, pretty much everybody picked Peeps 3. What was number 4? Somebody said, Aaron said he'd get rid of number 4, the chocolate bunny.
chocolate
and
bunny.
Oh, come on, it's
Tim?
Easter. You can't get rid of the chocolate
I find it
bunny.
enjoyable. I don't know if I'm a
Can
sick
you?
individual, but I
Oh.
like biting the ears off the chocolate rabbit.
Yes, you are a sick individual.
Tim said, it's not on the list, but Tim said he'd get rid of Oh, he said the malted egg. He means the Cadbury egg or malted.
No,
milk
like
balls.
it's like a
Malted egg?
What the heck is the malted candy?
They're like Whoppers.
Malted milk.
Whoppers.
That's what
Whoppers.
I
I love Whoppers.
I love Whoppers.
Those
I
are
love
gross.
Whoppers.
Okay, well, so we got 2 out of 5 that would eat the malted egg. So
Well,
that's
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. So that's 60%.
That's gross.
I
Jesse,
did some quick
did-
math there.
Did
You
we
like
not
that?
have some producer comments on this very topic? I think it went beyond just naming this. I think people actually chimed in on our Facebook and our Instagram feeds about their passion or lack of passion for certain Easter candies. We're pulling those up right now. So Jay, if you want to take the Instagram followers to the big board, I know it's not impressive. Oh, there we go. See? And then our Facebook followers can, I know, already see this. Angela says that Peeps and Cadbury cream eggs are both gross to her. Okay. Sean Stewart says number 3. That, of course, would be the. I can't remember number
Number 3, and
That
it's
doesn't
not
help
even
me,
close.
Jessica.
The
What was number
Peeps.
3?
The Peeps.
Was Peeps 3 on the list?
Not at all.
Because each
Fan
of them were
jelly
numbered.
beans.
Okay, thank you. Linda, wow, that was a heck of a comment by Linda. Can we keep this up for a moment? Oh, okay, I guess we can't. Why are these moving so fast? This is the Sunrise Extra show. We have 20 minutes to discuss whatever we'd like, and we're moving through these comments like they're going out of style.
Okay.
Okay.
Recycle.
All right.
Reverse.
Emily pointed out the fact that it is Easter and the Easter bunny should not be number 4 because it is Easter, and I happen to agree with Emily. Got to give the Easter bunny some respect.
That is like that's the centerpiece of any decent Easter basket.
It's the turkey, if
chocolate
you will.
bunny. Yes.
Yes.
So get rid of that.
I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you a little tease, something I'm working on for May.
Yes.
I'm doing a series on something called Mom Bosses, and
Okay.
we're featuring some really awesome local moms who run their own companies. So I'm going to go work on that.
You've already had. Wait, are you trying to exit
Yes.
now?
Was that smooth?
And
Wow,
can I
that's our exit.
also say that
Yeah.
I've got a new carpool coming up with none other than Lisa Schroeder from Mothers.
Oh, my
That's
She
gonna
has
be
such
good.
an interesting story, and so I'm going to.
I'm looking forward to both of these stories.
Looking
I
forward to
don't
going
like
to
the
the new
fact that
downtown
we
location.
have to go
now.
work
We've
on
been
that
there.
as well.
I have not.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
looking
beautiful
forward to
room.
going there.
You guys,
Oh, wow. We're
it's
just
the
getting.
man show.
Everybody's leaving. The man show.
Okay.
I have.
Let's
things
talk
to
golf.
work on too, ladies.
Let's talk.
I have a lot on my plate as well, but that plate will not be addressed until Sunrise Extra is through. Chris, Rod.
I have to
Drew.
actually excuse myself because I
No,
have
you
some
don't.
pressing traffic
kidding?
news to get to. But I will be back. How about that? I will be back in 2 minutes.
Rod, it's down to me and
you and- yeah.
and you and me. Something that hasn't been discussed yet. This is.
Well, I wanna-
oh, you have something? Because I do have something. But if you have
No,
something,
I was just going to
go.
mention my day yesterday real quick, and we'll go ahead and share it with everybody on
At
Friday.
the end of the story, do you walk off the set?
No, I won't
Okay,
walk
good.
off the set. But
All
anyway, we went to Dallas yesterday, and we spent probably 6 hours down there. Had a great time. You know, our series we do on Fridays called Ride on the Road, so it will be Dallas this Friday. I'm still not absolutely positive if I'm going to be live there on Friday. We hope to be.
What's the holdup there?
But we're you know, we got to have something. We got to put some things together. I
Okay.
can't just go stand out in the
Well,
middle
we
of
have
the
the
rain.
staffing. We have the photographer
Yes.
available to do this segment.
I believe so.
Okay,
so I
that's a
hope to be
critical
there live
component as
again
well.
Friday. But, you know, 16,000 people. It's the county seat of Polk County. If you don't know, you drive through Salem, you cross the Willamette, and then you head west, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes,
Right.
and you're in Dallas. It has that classic little downtown area, a beautiful park, and had a great chit-chat with their mayor, whose family has been a part of that community going back into the 1800s. So there's a
Really?
lot of people that have been there for generation after generation. I found that really fascinating. Had some food, had some beer, and went into a quilting shop, which I've never done before. So they have this place called Grandma's Attic. Apparently, if you are a quilter and you live in Oregon, Washington, maybe Northern California, maybe Idaho, you know about this store that's in Dallas, and people will travel to this store. They put on all sorts of classes. They have unique fabrics that quilters know about. It was actually a Business of the Year, I think, last year in Dallas. So kind of interesting little stories that typically you don't think about being part of a community.
Admittedly, I've never been to Dallas myself. I know exactly where it is.
It was my first time. It was my first time.
And you explain it well as far as where it sits on the map. I always think it's funny, though, because Dallas, Oregon, is one of those places when you talk about it, you feel like you always have to say Oregon after the name of the town. So there's no confusion with what's
The Big
considered
D.
the Big D down there in Texas. But we love Dallas, Oregon, and Rob will be there Friday. At least we hope you'll be there live. We know we'll talk about Dallas,
Yeah.
Oregon at great length, whether you're there live or not. At great length, the Rod on the Road segment Friday will be all about Dallas.
Can you give us a little sneak preview? One of the great things that you.
You just missed it. We just
that
Oh,
was
son of a biscuit.
He didn't
Okay.
give us just a sneak preview. He gave us about 3 minutes.
Oh, well.
You're jumping in at a good time, Chris, because we're going to open up a new topic, probably our final topic of the Sunrise Extra program on this Wednesday. have either of you ever really watched Jeopardy?
Yeah,
Jeopardy fan.
all the time when I was a kid.
Like,
Absolutely.
I used to do it all the time too, up until like my early
Yeah.
20s, and then life
Yeah.
sort of got really busy, and I couldn't dedicate
Don't
my
watch
7 o'clock
television.
hour.
I average one correct
And that was, of course-
question every 3 episodes. Continue.
Well, how come you weren't a contestant then?
Hey,
You'd
we're
be
asking
somewhere
this-
other than sitting here on the Sunrise Show.
Jay, you can take our Facebook followers to the big board because there is a great
Hall
run
of
happening
Famer.
right now on the Jeopardy program. There is a fellow who, Rod and Chris, he's a professional sports gambler. That's what this man does to earn money for a living. He bets on sports, but he is kicking some serious butt on Jeopardy right now. Quickly catching up, I should say, to the all-time winnings record on the show. A lot of our viewers may remember the name Ken Jennings. He dominated Jeopardy about 15 years ago. Well, this new guy, this professional sports gambler, is catching up to Ken rather quickly. So there you see the chronology there of how he's been doing. Highest winnings in a regular season play. The regular season winnings stand at $460,000. Oh, and it is upped it now. Jessica, our producer, said just because of last night's program, he's up to $566,000, second only again to the great Ken Jennings.
Now,
And
to
Ken
do
Jennings' number was, do we know what that number is?
Don't have it on the board, don't have my...
But
oh,
you have to
geez,
win. That's a
2.5
number of
million.
shows, right? You have to be on there for several weeks. I mean, it's always done. If you don't know, Jeopardy, in its time slot across the country, which is anywhere from 6:30 to 7:30, usually, depending on or, somewhere in there.
After the night news, local
But it
news.
is incredibly dominant as a program, watched by millions and millions of Americans. And with that said, all the money that show makes, I thought their payout's a little poor. I mean, that's a good fee. No, but seriously.
Well,
you can make
I know
more
what
money
you're
going
saying.
on Hollywood Squares, for crying out loud, in the old days when you didn't have to know anything. But to get to these totals, this man has been on there for quite some time. That's a lot of shows to rack up those types of
I
numbers.
believe it's 72 shows in a row that he's been on now.
Yeah.
So there
You know
go.
what I'm saying? In the world of game shows or some of these shows, you don't have to have any knowledge at all.
Right.
People are making $100,000 on one show sometimes.
You know what I'm kind of curious about with
Jeopardy
Jeopardy
doesn't pay out
too?
very well.
Like, I mean, this show's been on the air, what, like 30 years?
Yeah,
Something like that, long
probably, at
time.
least.
Oh, Jeopardy?
Yeah,
Probably more than
30
40.
plus years.
Yeah, because
I mean,
there's
well, the
a host.
original
35
host.
years?
Yeah,
I was
give
going to
his
say
name.
there's a host before Alex Trebek who I can't remember now. But I do.
Anyway.
Go ahead. I had to
So-
point out, in case you were misunderstanding me, Ken Jennings was on for 72 episodes. This guy's only been on for 9. He's racking up all these
to my
winnings for
point,
9
look at
episodes.
how long it takes to make that kind of money. It's
Right.
a long time.
I wonder how long it takes for them to recycle questions.
He-
That's got to be a little Jeopardy trivia, right? Like when I
Have
mean,
there been any repeat questions in the
there's,
history of
I
the
mean,
show,
there
honestly?
had to be. I mean, how many thousands of, there's
Yeah,
got
it's
to
a good
be,
question.
but I mean, and who comes up with those questions and researches the answer? That's got to be quite a. Maybe that's where they pay all the money to the staffers that go actually, research that stuff.
Actually, a little inside information. I dated a woman who was still part of the Jeopardy program.
She was on the production team. of
Well, you
sorts.
ever watch? They have that Clue Crew. They call it the Jeopardy Clue Crew.
No, I'm not.
So
familiar.
that started about 20 years ago. Thanks for watching Jeopardy, by the way.
That's how long it is.
But
It's
when
been
you're
since
watching
I
the show now,
watched
everyone-
regularly.
Every once in a while, when they turn the clue, it's a live person that reads the clue.
Okay, right.
And they send these people all
I
over
have
the
seen
world
that.
to
Yeah,
deliver
yeah.
these clues in
What are you talking
person,
about?
and she
Yeah.
was one of these clue crew members. Has
really?
been doing it for 20 years.
Wow.
Crazy gig.
So,
traveled
just-
the world, doing very little work. on
And
her
she's
part.
probably made more than that guy in 72 episodes.
I don't know if that's true. I think she's getting
Shoot,
paid
nine,
on the
no, he's
coolness
only made
of the show. But that is happening
Wow.
right now on Jeopardy.
And you broke up with her because you only go out with women from Mesticata, typically.
It all worked out.
Typically.
Let me put it this way. She probably broke up with me, as most did, but I'm glad it all worked out the way I did because you're right. I met a great woman from Estacada, and things are going quite well. We're going to leave on this, gentlemen. We have time for one more picture, and this is a cute little picture. I think we're going to
here
throw
we
it up
go.
on the board right here. This is not one tall older fella. That's 2 young boys
Oh, my goodness.
stacking each other up on top of one another.
Oh, that's great.
To create the old man look. It's a trench coat that puts these 2 kids in an adult-like situation, and people were tweeting about this. Very cool. If you want to check that out, you can find them online right now because they're going, as they say, viral.
Excellent.
Take some strength. How
Well,
old are
that
these
felt like
kids?
an ending.
And we thought we would reenact that right now with Chris getting on Rod's shoulders. I'll let you guys get
Oh,
at it.
wait a
and I'll
minute,
say
wait a
Thank
minute.
you for watching
I don't know if we wanna
Sunrise
do that.
Extra on this Wednesday. Good day.
Cheers. See you tomorrow.